Hey YouTubers, this is KilligA6, and this countdown is all about this guy.
I am Zordon, an interdimensional being caught in a time warp.
Alright, you guys. Now guys, if you guys seen, that is Zordon. Zordon is the commander of the Power Rangers. Now guys, the reason why I chose him as my number one. Oh, if you guys are wondering, I'm not going to do the Megazords, I'll do that tomorrow. But I want to get this out of the way about why Zordon, as the title, why is Zordon the best commander of the whole series? Now, Zordon is the one who chose Jason, Trini, Zach, and Billy. And Kimberly. I missed one, I know. And what's really interesting about Zordon is that he's the one who chose these kids. And out of everywhere in this whole world, why them? I think maybe because they live closer, I guess. But you know what? It's just that Zordon is really confident that these kids were willing to be Power Rangers. Now, guys, I like to go over some of the commanders, and I want you guys to hear me out on why I chose Zordon as my number one. All right, you guys. I'm sure you guys remember Doggy Kruger. Now, he was in my top 10 best sixth Rangers. Now, the reason why that he was as the best commander is because Kruger was there for the Rangers and also gave good lessons. Like I told you about Jack, the Red Ranger, and how he became the Red Ranger because Kruger chose him instead of Sky. As you guys know, Sky is like the teacher's pet, and he passed the test. But when Kruger asked him if I was to appoint Sid as Red Ranger, Sid is the pink one, would you follow into battle? He said, no, Kruger, she's a girl. I said, what about Bridge, who is the Green Ranger? He said, I like Bridge. He's my friend, but in all honesty, he's no leader. And it's just how the reason why Kruger chose Jack, because Jack had the potential. But Sky wanted to be the Red Ranger because his father was. He was the Time Force Ranger. So, despite all that, guys, it's just the fact that Kruger chose Jack because he was a born leader. So, but when Jack was not doing his duties, he actually asked the team, if Jack's is not a good leader, raise your hand, and they all raised their hand. And Kruger took his morpher, and Jack was watching them get pulverized by a monster with their Zords. And Jack said, they're getting schooled out there, man. And Kruger looked at him and said, hey, without a leader, they're at a disadvantage. He looked at him and said, but I was the leader. As he looked at him, he said, a true leader earns respect by example. Did you set an example? And Jack's like, no, I didn't. I just took advantage of my duty. But when he told him that, I don't belong here, I said, where do you belong? I belong with my Rangers, with my team. He says, well, you're not going to command him here. Go. And as he was about to leave, he said, Jack, you forgot this. And he gave him his morpher back. But I'm sure you guys remember how he became the Shadow Ranger. Now, after that, here's why Kruger's actually a good teacher on this point. He was training with the Rangers, him against 5, and he beat all 5. But that night, the Rangers were excited that, wow, it's cool to have Kruger as our new team member. And I said, buddy, you see how strong he was? I'm just going to kick back and go with the flow. That's Jack going. And Sky's like, you're right. With Shadow Ranger here, we'll go to Golden. I can't even say Golden. But then the next day, there was a new monster. They were getting pulverized by this one. They called Kruger for help, but he didn't show up. And when they needed help, Kruger told him, no, you're going to solve this mystery on your own without me, without Cat Minx. Go do it yourselves. And the Rangers were wondering, like, why are you acting this way? But then after that, when they found out about the bracelets, the bracelets were actually was the monster needed to give him more strength and more power. And when they got him, he was really wiping the floor with the Power Rangers. And Kruger was there on top of the building, and still nothing. No morphing, no nothing. And Jack walked around to him and says, why won't you help us? He says, you don't need it. He says, finish the job. Trust me. And the Rangers were able to pull together and stop that monster. And as for the bracelets, they gave it back to the original owner who it was. It was a sorcerer. But they decided to go up to Kruger and find out why he didn't help. Why didn't you help us? You were there, but we were getting pulverized. He says, where was the Shadow Ranger? He says, where was the Shadow Ranger? He says, well, he heard you guys talk last night. Kruger was actually behind the door and listened to all the conversations from the Rangers when Jack said, I'm going to go with the flow, Sky, with Shadow Ranger, we're golden. That's why he didn't help. Kruger looked at them, and when they got caught, Kruger looked at them and says, ever since the arrival of the Shadow Ranger, you guys let your guard down, and you guys relied solely on me. One Ranger is not important, that is not the important one. It's the team that's important. I was there because you guys thought I was going to help, but I didn't. I was there to make sure that you guys got the job done and showing you that you didn't need me to help. And so that was the point. 5 individuals, they fight great, but when you fight as one, that is a powerful force. That's what Kruger was teaching them. That don't rely as each other as a solo part. Rely on everyone as a team. And they realized that. I said, I'm sorry, Kruger, we're not going to do that again. Kruger looked at them and said, good. Because I can't stand seeing you guys get your butts get beat all the time. And he was making fun of them because they were getting their butts kicked. Kruger was a great leader. And he was. But now, there's another commander I like to point out too. Here you go, guys. Now, this is another commander that I want you guys to know. This is Captain Mitchell from Lightspeed Rescue. He was the one who chose the Power Rangers by their skills and their bravery. Now, the one that if I remember correctly, had a good impact on was the Red Ranger, Carter. He saw him as a fireman. But if you guys remember back as the Red Ranger, the best Red Rangers with Carter, he had the lowest score. Captain Mitchell's telling him that you may have the fastest time, but you got the lowest score with the blaster. And he said, but Captain, I hit all the targets. It's not about hitting the targets. It's about using this. If you ever decide to use a blaster, use this. And if you guys remember, like I said, when they were at a parking garage, there was a fire, and there was a family that was about to get crumbled by some rock debris. And as he was about to go save them, Captain Mitchell said, stop. Let's go put out that fire first. And he said, but the people, said, put out the fire. And he did, but the people got hurt. He actually went up to him and said, you told me to put out the fire, and I did. And he said, you did a good job. He said, a good job? Thanks, it's because of you, those people got hurt, and now they're in a hospital. He looked at him and said, you did the right thing. And Carter didn't want to hear anything. Captain Mitchell actually followed him that day. When he went to the kid that was hurt. He said, I'm sorry I couldn't help you. I wanted to be like that fireman that saved me when I was your age. He told him the story that as a boy, Carter was trapped in a building. It was on fire. And then a brave fireman came to his rescue. But a beam fell on him on his right side, and he told him to go. As he looked back, the door closed, and he took off his mask, and you couldn't see his face. And Carter had inspiration by that fireman to be one. So when he went back and he saw the tanks at his training practice, he found out that he shot the gas tanks. But then when he went back to the parking garage and he went to the trail where the fire would have went, there was gasoline tanks there too. Then he realized, oh my God, if I hadn't put out that fire, the whole place would have gone on it. Everybody would have got hurt. And Captain Mitchell was there and saying, sometimes the obvious choice is the wrong choice. The training exercises, that's right. I have you do training because I wanted to make sure that you're ready. If you ever decide to use that blaster, you're thinking right. And when I told you before, when he was about to save those people from the rock debris, Captain Mitchell told him to put out the fire first, and he didn't want to. So if he didn't listen to his commander, that whole parking garage would have been up in smoke. Now, this one it shows real inspiration right there. As you guys know, Carter was a fireman. He went to go save somebody, but he noticed that Captain Mitchell had pain right here on his right shoulder for some reason. He wondered why. He said, "Oh, it's nothing. It's just a climbing accident." And when there was a fire, they needed another person to help out, and Captain Mitchell was one of them. He saved the kid, and he was able to get out. But when Captain Mitchell was getting repaired on his back to cover the bruises from the beam, as he looked, his scars looked like they were there for a long time. And then he remembered that the fireman that saved him got hit right there too. And he looked at him and said, "Captain, it was you who saved me as a kid?" And he turned around and said, "Yes, it was me." And he said, "Why didn't you tell me?" I said, I wanted to, but I couldn't." He said, "But I knew that you were going to grow up to be the man that you are now. Because I saw something in you that I never saw anybody. I saw courage. I saw determination. And that's what I saw in you as a kid when I saw you look back at me. That's why I chose you as a Red Ranger. Because you reminded me of myself when I was your age now. As a kid, seeing that face, knowing that I saved your life was the best feeling I could ever get. Now, there's a saying that goes that imitation is a sign of flattery, as an act of flattery. And Carter became a fireman because of the guy who saved his life as a kid. And it turns out that Captain Mitchell was the one who saved him. That shows right there good dedication, and that's why he's a good commander. But now let's go back to Zordon for a sec. Now, guys, Zordon has been through 5 seasons. And I'm going to show you this episode in a bit later. But as you guys know, that he helped the Rangers a lot. And one thing about him is that he doesn't hold grudges. If you guys remember Green with Evil, when Tommy became the evil Green Ranger, and he destroyed the command center, he actually didn't feel anger for Tommy, and he actually forgave him. So, what was really interesting about Zordon was that he helped out everybody. He was like a father to those kids, those 6 teenagers. Even when they had new Rangers, he knew that like Rocky, Adam, and Aisha, the 3 new ones that they just met, he knew that he could trust them to keep in the secret, and they did. But man, all through the seasons, he knew that he picked the right kids to save the world. But when the kids were little, thanks to Master Vile's evil crystal, which you're going to see at the next villain countdown, if you guys are wondering about the Master Vile was on Earth to go find the Zeo Crystal. Now, the Zeo Crystal, if you guys remember from Power Ranger Zeo, is a power source that gives unbelievable strength. And he was trying to look for it. And the Rangers found it. They were able to defeat Master Vile and his monster and find the crystal. So they destroyed it and take them to different timelines where not even the Rangers would know. But Zordon wouldn't know either. So, as kids, Zordon said the only way for you guys to be adult again is by the Zeo Crystal. He said, but we scattered them around the timeline. I thought you said you couldn't be able to find them. He said, I know, but their power was so great, I actually know where they are. So when he asked these kids to go after the crystal, the kids were actually saying, yes, we'll go. These were the Rangers as kids. Billy was able to make himself big again by an invention that he did as a kid, but that's when they destroyed the power coins. So they were able to retrieve the Zeo Crystal, and they became Zeo Rangers, and then Zordon was able to help him out. But here's the one that I find that was very interesting, besides this episode. I'll show you this episode later, but for now, let me show you something else. This was by far the craziest episode at the end of Season 3. Watch this.
What's happening?
Rangers, you must evacuate the command center.
We can't leave you!
Man.
Listen. Teleport them out now!
He's trying to tell him to get out. Watch. I had to skip it. Just let you watch. Man. Now, guys, that was the saddest thing I've ever seen because seeing the whole command center get destroyed with Zordon and Alpha in it, that was the saddest thing ever. As a kid, I had a tear in my eye. I couldn't believe it. But then when the next season called the Power Rangers Zeo, the Zeo Quest, that's when we found out that Alpha and Zordon were alive. So, and they call it the Power Chamber now. But now the time has come for you to see that last episode I was telling you about. Now, guys, this was the Countdown to Destruction. This was Power Rangers in Space final episodes and seasons. Now, if to let you guys know about it, that Zordon left the Power Rangers on and Power Rangers Turbo. If you guys are wondering why, if you guys remember the Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, that's actually how they got their turbo powers. Zordon left because a friend named Larigo, who was in the movie, he was actually a team player. He was the key in the whole movie. He was there to help the Rangers and also save his family from Divatox. But Larigo told Zordon that his planet was in trouble, and so Zordon decided to leave and go save his planet. But then Demetria, who was the new commander, like Zordon, he had to leave too because he found out that Zordon is captured by Dark Spectre, which is the same lava monster from Turbo, Power Rangers movie, which was cool. So Andros found out that Astronema was his sister. He went up there to go save him, and he found him. Now watch this.
Yes, Andros, it's me.
Zordon!
I
can't believe it.
You're not going to
I was
believe what
beginning to
he
think I'd
asked
never see you
Andros
again.
on this point.
Andros, listen to me. There is not much time. The forces of evil have already captured most of the universe. Soon they will capture the Earth.
Yes.
This
I
what
know.
makes me sad right here.
You can stop it from happening.
How? Tell me.
Shatter my energy tube.
No!
Only the good energy from my tube can destroy the forces of evil.
But Zordon,
Man.
what's going to happen
This
to you?
is crazy.
I will be gone, but my spirit will forever live in all that is good.
No, Zordon. We'll keep fighting. There's got to be another way.
There is no other way.
Now, guys, right there, that was the saddest moment right there. These Rangers were looking for Zordon, and now Zordon asked Andros to destroy his tube. That means Zordon would die in order to stop everything. The whole galaxy has been captured. Earth is the only one that is left. The Rangers were fighting an army down there, and with the help of civilians, they helped out too. Andros is the only one that's by himself up there. Zordon asked Andros. He made the ultimate sacrifice, and I think that's why Zordon was the best commander. Okay, he was willing to sacrifice himself to save everyone. But at the end, that's when it happened. But watch this.
Listen to me. It is your duty as a Power Ranger to save the universe. Now is the time.
Yeah. Right there, I could not believe it. If you're wondering who that guy was, that's Ecliptor. Astronema was fighting Andros, and when Astronema zapped him, he used his spiral saber and deflected it, but it zapped her, and she was gone. But thanks to Zordon and his good energy, I guess it actually saved her from being gone. But right there, guys, that was the saddest moment, and that actually impacted the whole Power Rangers series. Power Rangers in Space was supposed to be the final season and the final time we're going to see the Power Rangers. But this show did so well, they hoped that it would continue more, and it did. 1993 it started, and now it's 2017. It's been 24 years. And it's crazy. That shows right there how dedicated everyone is to this show. And Zordon, I believe, Zordon is the best commander out of the whole commanders that we've seen. There was two, but there were others, but they weren't worthy enough, in my opinion. But I'm sure you guys will understand how Zordon is actually the best because he chose the right team. He had a lot of good sayings. He looked at Jason one time when he was didn't think that he was a good leader. He said a true leader is always faced with tough decisions. You must put your emotions aside and see who has the greater need. That's when Jason was putting himself down because he couldn't save Tommy and his powers in the Green Candle. Zordon told him that he made the right choice. Like what Zack said, he said, if I don't get that Jason said, if I don't get that candle, Tommy's going to lose his powers. He said, if we don't get to Tommy, he's going to lose his life. Because Tommy was trying to handle the monster, and he was losing badly, and his powers were draining. So Jason made a choice, and he left the candle. And Tommy wasn't upset. He said, you did what you had to do, and you did the right thing. And then when he came back, that showed right there that they were a good team, and no matter what, they were always going to be a good team. And as Zordon, as you guys know, if I remember correctly, around 2000 to 2006, around those years, the guy who was the voice of Zordon, he passed away. But Zordon will always be the best commander. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give me your opinions on if you think that Zordon is the best commander. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more reactions, more gameplay. Drop a like on this video if you enjoyed this. The Megazord 1 will come in tomorrow because I'm off. Alright, you guys. Thank you for watching, and don't forget, stay positive.